Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 3v3 played on the map generator between a bunch of pros. If you want more procasts, here they are, as we can go ahead and get into introducing our teams, with Team 1, of course, as always, in the top, and Team 2 in the bottom. But before we do, go down and check the buttons and links down below. There is a subscribe button, which only about 30% of you all click. Go ahead and click that, help the channel out a little bit. And then you have like, dislike, bell, join, super thanks, all of those buttons useful. Support me on the channel membership or Patreon to help keep this channel alive. Now, as we move on to introducing Eco Noob, the red Aeon, going first land. Of course, as said his name, it's Eco Noob, and he is rocking this back position. As to the west of him, we have ourselves a blue Aeon, double Aeon for Team 1, so we already know which team is gonna win based off that alone. I actually don't know who wins, but still. His name is Alan Nagyabi Raj. His name is Alan. And he has gone first land. As we reach over to the southeast to see our third player, 3 1500s in a trench coat, the man who hates his own nickname. His name is Tex, and he is a green Seraphim. As we move on over to Team 2, and not going to introduce in any set order, as we have a gray UEF going first land by the name of Blast Chilled. And he is rocking this southernmost position. As up to the northwest of him, we have a blue Seraphim going first land by the name of Banger Noob. He's here to bang out some games as a noob, apparently. As we have our last player to introduce, a red Cybran. His name deceives you. He is, in fact, the saddest British pro, and his name is Grimplex. And with that out of the way, we can look at the map and its reclaim values. 20,000, vast majority of it spread across this center line of the map diagonally. And I'm sure these players are going to get out there and start scooping that up very quickly, as they will be itching to get into the combat and start really landing some blows against their opposition. And of course, it wouldn't be a pro-level game if we didn't have some early form of harassment coming online here. We have a Mech Marine and Snoop. Name a better combo. I will wait, as this classic collaboration makes its way across the map towards the base of Tex, and maybe even the base of Eco Noob if it's feeling particularly spicy. Looking to get up some engineer kills here in the early game on the minimap. We can see some other harassment and interesting plays coming out from these players. Forgot the map does that. We have a transport already out and on the way to the reclaim field here for Tex. Tex's reclaim field, and the transport is here for Blast Chilled. He's going to be trying to scoop up as much of that reclaim and steal it away from his green counterpart. Very, very interesting plays coming out. T1 Bomber now out from Tex as he starts to handle himself in a poor... I thought that was his own interceptor for some reason. No, Grimplex shoots down the bomber for Tex, which means that's going to result in very little. A bomber out from Grimplex getting shot down by Eco Noob. So bombers this game just not gonna find any form of success. They are suffering from failure, unlike DJ Khaled, as a bunch of factories are being built up and a reclaim field being scooped up now by Blast Chilled. Tech's going to drop 2 engineers in this reclaim field. Probably going to be pretty sad with that outcome, as of course he does get the reclaim order off in time on his own engineer opposition, but is not going to be quite so capable of just straight up killing off this base. As soon as a Lobo comes out, the idea of a T1 PD doing anything will be sad. That reclaim order was very depressing. Reclaimed the wreck instead of the engineer. One engineer most likely going to go down here. A tank does come out, and it seems as though Tex has abandoned the idea of building that PD, which means that this situation is just going to continue to skyrocket out of control. We have 2,500 reclaim. If we zoom in a little bit more, about 2,000 reclaim here, and Tex is going to be very unhappy to see Blast Shield scooping that up. As over here to the west, we have some units engaging each other. Some flares going to be taken down by a Mantis horde, and of course, everything going it's going pretty standard, except for this drop being very, very successful. Although Tex dropped the opposite side himself and has managed to get the lion's share of the reclaim. We saw 2,000 there. There was probably 3,000 to start off with, or somewhere about it. And he's managed to scoop up at least half of that, so he will be happy with that progress. And of course, we have the standard harassment, standard interceptors flying around. Blast Shield shoots down the transport. That's going to be a nice juicy bit of reclaim here. Seems as though EcoNoob, most likely player to get that into his coffers. We have our first com-on-com action. It's coming in hot and heavy between Grimplex and Alan. They're having themselves a wonderful time as they just blap away. The enlightened Aeon Com running away from the absolutely barbaric and horny Cybern Com. Take that as you will. Does seem to have a lot of spikes on it. If you look at it from an unbiased perspective, you could indeed call the Cybercom horny. Probably not something you thought you would hear today, especially at the 6-minute mark in a cast, but this is what you sign up for, and this is why you should hit that subscribe button, damn it! Hit subscribe. Some of you all probably skipped the beginning, but hit subscribe. Come on, you can do it. You watch way too many of these videos for that button to still be red, okay? It's a badge of honor to have that gray button beneath my videos. Now, with my attention whoring out the way, we have some upgrades, I believe. Nope, there wasn't. Drop! What the fuck? I thought I saw an upgrade startup, but we didn't. We do see Tex getting into this choke point. Speaking of choke points on this map very hostile towards the idea of land play. There are very few areas where you can get a large army to move efficiently, and these areas are generally going to be places where players have already built up their base. I feel like T2PD is going to make a large showing here. Would not be surprised to see the first upgrade built this game be T2. As currently, Grimplex, the only player I think getting any major successes on the ground front. He's managed to push back that comm of Allen, bring it down to about 8,500 HP while he's at full, and he's managed to get a few raids off up here that I didn't give particularly great attention to, but did stop the expansion of Allen momentarily, and it's to be expected. 2,200 versus 1,900 doesn't seem like a lot, but there is each 100 rating points over about 1,800 is massive. It's night and day. Still, Alan, no slouch himself. He will be having himself a difficult time trying to handle Grimplex, but will not necessarily be completely outmatched. He has a decent shot of holding his own here. More Mantis getting into the backline, getting right past that wall that just barely wasn't finished. Ooh, gonna be painful. And gonna get in here, probably pick off some mexes. As over here to the east, T1 Bombers cleaning up another raid out from Grimplex, who is just laying on the aggression towards his Aeon counterparts to the north. And currently, the comm of EcoNoob has come all the way down here and may even see him get invested into the ground game. We even have ground game investment coming out from Banger Noob. I kind of expected these players in the back to be a little bit more passive, just going for T3 Air, which they are. T3 Air about to finish up at 8 minutes and 30 seconds for Banger Noob. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, T3 has not started yet for EcoNoob. EcoNoob going a little bit slower on the air focus. Although I think he's sitting on a slightly better economy, and by that I mean he is like 4 or 5 mass a second ahead of his opposition, so not really, not significantly. As over here to the west of EcoNoob's base, we have some engineers dropped. I think those engineers are on an attack move, but I'm not sure. And of course, aggression coming out all across the map. Grimplex still trying to push his luck. He's going up against these enlightened auroras, these, what's a good A adjective that's good? And he's using his maddened Mantis to just maraud across the countryside. As of course we all know, Mantis are very, very mean to the Aurora. Having that extra speed means they're very adept at running down these T1 tanks out from the Aeon. Of course, the Aeon can abuse the range, and we see a little bit of range abuse over here, and as well as that Spectre, which is the more obvious thing to comment on. Com of Allen also getting some work done. Over to the south, things much more calm. T1 bombers trying to get some harass down onto the units over here for Blast Shield. Not going to result in too terribly much, but the T1 bomber game out from Team 1 has been relatively astounding. They're using it to great effect to stop land pushes and to just kind of contain the aggression coming out from Team 2. And down here, we had a massive drop of engineers, and it didn't go detected. And now we have Tex with a base of production right behind Blast Shield and right here sitting next to some of his own factories. If Tex can manage to win this right here despite having the a bit slower build up here, he's going to be able to shut down this production and really set Blast behind, because his nearest production facilities are in his base and he only has 3 factories there and there's 4 right here. And he's quickly getting outnumbered on factory and unit count. Gonna build another factory in an attempt to stop this. A lot of air invested down here for Tex. Tex doing a beautiful job, showing us a masterclass on how to get these cheeky little drops off and how to make your opponent pay for their... What's the correct word here? Ignorance, I guess is the word. Pay for not paying enough attention, or their lack of attention, but that doesn't sound as good as ignorance, so we're going with that. Blast Shield is an ignorant player, and I'm sure that there's going to be somebody in the comments upset about that statement, but nevertheless, it's my job. I'm here to upset the players and catch their bad plays, and then they can be upset for me whenever I miss the good ones. This is just such a brutal play coming out from Tex. You gotta respect it. Of course, can he afford it? I know it's always a bad idea to ask if a pro player can afford something, because then you click on him and it's like, oh yeah, no, this is like fucking chump change. But if I were doing it, I'd be stalling. As a bunch of units out from Blast Shield trying to strike deep into the territory of Tex. Possibly a multiple T2 mechs is going to be going down for Tex, and the Tex mechs joke is there, but I'm not clever enough to make it, as he is being ate up. Yes, the Tex-Mex joke. He's being ate up by these strikers out from Blast Shield. He is, of course, going to lose just 1 T2 mechs. Maybe that was a T2 mechs as well. Going to lose these forward mechs. Going to be a little bit unfortunate for Tex, but he's going to recover just fine. I'm sure he is giving a lot worse than he is getting right now, as those units may have just been better if they were sent down here. Although that would open him up for an attack on the front. Blast Shield put into an impossible situation. He is somehow being pincered. Despite all of the choke points on this map, he's being pincered by Tex, and Tex is going to town on this production base. It's going to be very painful to lose this, but Blast Shield is indeed going to. As the flak coming out, there is T2 land over here now. I know there's an entire rest of the map to look at right now, but Tex is really being an attention whore, as he has just pulled off the nastiest factory drop I think I've seen in probably about 50 to 60 casts. And it is just going downhill for Blast. He needs to stabilize, he needs to reverse this situation, but Tex giving him no outs, giving him no quarter, and giving him no factories, as he shuts down the 6 factories over here and builds even more of his own. And once these start teching up, once we have Ilshevas out on the field, this will just get even more untenable for Blast Shield. And right now, the onus for Team 2 is on Blast Shield to hold and Grimplex to make something happen, because Tex is outperforming Grimplex so far this game, and these are the 2 players to look at. The 2200s, of course, Eco Noob, not a slouch himself at 2400, statistically the best player in the game. Although he's been relatively quiet until now, where T3 Air is out in the field. Strat Bomber out from Banger Noob, going to be coming in. May be able to pick off multiple power generators here, but a T3 power is already online, and we also have T3 Air finished up now for Allen, and that's going to create a bit of a problem for Team 2, as I believe there's only one player on Team 2 with T3 air, and this is going incredibly poorly for the Southern team, as the gray UEF player is just capitulating underneath the force of this Seraphim onslaught against himself. Shout out to Onslaught, great map. The people who started everybody playing that should really get some credit. Looking at you, Thurnus, as we meander our way towards the 15-minute mark. Air win, and a dominant one for Banger, which is really making up for the fact that his team is behind on air players, 2 versus 1. He is doing very well for himself to keep his Air Force alive and keep on shooting down all of these air units that are coming out from these factories. Could have possibly gone for an airlock there, but at the pro level, I feel airlocks are a little bit less successful. The players respond very quickly and build those SAMs that you need to break the airlock very, very promptly. Blast Shield does have speed or damage in range, not speed in range. He's UEF. UEF always trying to be different, as he starts to march upon the position now, a bastion for Tex. Up here to the north, we have some aggression now showing up yet again for Grimplex, and now that he has air control, now that his team can protect him, these T2 units going to come in and try and get some work done. A T1 unupgraded comm over here for Allen, going to try and fight back these rhinos. I think he thinks better of it, realizing, oh wait, yeah, no, I just lose this. Hoplites and rhinos are strong. Maybe with overcharge he could have managed something, but doesn't seem that he has access to that oh-so-pivotal comm function. Blast Shield starting to push back against Tex's stronghold down here in the southeastern corner. Tex also managed to get all of the reclaim here. Speaking of reclaim, yep, that puts Tex on the top. 13,000 reclaim for the Green Seraphim. And Blast Shield showing up with his comm to try and enact some kind of recompense for this attack. Probably used recompense improperly there, but somebody in the comments will be like, well, no, you used it correctly. Like that time I used, what was it? Existential threat, and somebody in the comment was like, you're right. I felt so good. That made me so happy. Speaking of which, this army out from Blast Shield, lots of pillars, quite the existential threat to this expansion. Although with T2 PD coming online, much less threatening, walls being thrown up, Tech's not gonna go silently into the night. He wants to hold on to this territory. He wants to keep it. He's not going to relent on this play, and you have to respect it. He does have some Ilshivas out onto the field. He is building PD. He's building walls to kind of mess up the pathfinding of his opposition's units if they do decide to commit to a full frontal assault, as full frontal bombers coming in. And Tex did lose a T2 Mex, I believe, maybe, but I don't know if he's going to lose very much more, as Banger is desperately in need of more ASF. He's losing the air fight. Bomb going to come in, going to get rid of the reclaim on that Mex, and that's going to be very painful now for Tex. You never want to be losing Mexes to Strat Bombers. Another Strat Bomber out on the map, killing off 2 T2 Mexes for Eco Noob, getting a lot of value out of these Strat Bombers, although there's an argument to be made he's not getting enough. He is dropping a lot of mass on the field for his opposition, as T3 land online for Grimplex, and he is starting to do to Allen what Tex has done to Blast. Blast faring a little bit better, has a lot more focus on that land power, whereas Allen has just committed to being an air player, and it's starting to backfire on him. He's having to build large banks of Oblivions just to hold on to basic expansion areas, and he is, of course, trying to produce some Restorers, and Restorers are great, but anti-air can deal with them unnecessarily quickly. The comm of Grimplex, I know it says Meltdown, I said it was a lie, but the comm of Grimplex over here, making its way northwards, probably wants to pull it back, as Restorers are not something you want to run into without adequate air cover, and your team did just lose a massive air fight over Texas base. Banger gonna have to recover from that and build his own air force up, as Grimplex's loyalists continue to make progress, although dying to some Restorers now, but at the moment you can see the pain on the faces of these two players. Both Blast Chilled and Allen somewhat in a race to the bottom. I believe this is a power stall for Tex. This is not just his... Yeah. No! Tex has lost a ton of economy to Strat Bombers and to some land forces, and now it's starting to look like Tex is in a huge spot of danger. He's on very low economy. Most of his production is down here, but he can't protect his main base from these run-bys of T2 units. EcoNoob had the right idea, built a bunch of walls and a bunch of units over here. Rhinos over here, gifted over from Grimplex over to Blast Shield, who is doing a phenomenal job of applying pressure with these small groups of units, 4 to 5 units at a time, sending them in down here. The same story, and shutting down Tex. Now getting some damage down onto EcoNoob, who is sitting on, I believe, the highest economy in the game, about to crest 200, or was above 200 before that. Strat Bomber coming out to start clean all of this up. But Tex taking a huge hit there. Although Tex is in a strong position, he still has around the same economy as Blast Shield, so he can continue to fight this, and he is starting to push Blast Shield back with this absolutely dangerous force coming out from the southeastern production base. He did his proxy base, if you would, in StarCraft terms. And now starting to push back against Blast Shield, who started to look like maybe he had a shot of dethroning that corner from Tex, but Tex not going to abdicate any territory to his green, or to his gray opponent, and in fact going to take more as his warmongering Seraphim silhouettes dotted across the skyline, or I guess the horizon, move in towards Blast Shield's main base, and he is running out of territory to fall back to. At some point you have to make a stand, Blast Shield, because Tex isn't gonna stop. He's taking the one-way ticket to your base, and he wants to go to Pound Town on it. T3 land, of course, finished up now for Blast Shield. That may be a moment of happiness for him, but I'm feeling like Percivals are the wrong call here. You're going to want Titans to deal with this T2 spam. Titan's going to be a little bit better at it than those Percivals. I guess if you get up enough Percivals fast enough, they can handle it too. Although it's going to be very dangerous for Percivals to be engaged with this many Ilshvas when you only have 1 or 2 of them. Blast Shield now using the comms, still trying to get some value out of it, getting up towards that second rank of veterancy. Overcharge, I'm sure, being used liberally across this army. The Percivals need to be microed pretty well. Want to keep them towards the back of your force. They do have that hit point pool, but until you can get a lot of them, you want to use the pillars here in this forest to hold off all of that aggression and soak damage while your Percivals get their firing cycle off over and over. Over here, another run by, another raiding group out from Blast Shield, still trying to keep Tex from establishing any kind of control over his own territory, as Blast Shield marches on the main base of Tex, much like Tex marching on the main base of Blast Shield. These two players at each other's throats, and it is beautiful to watch as these high-rated players inflict carnage on large scales against each other. Right now, though, Grimplex is looking scary. How many loyalists? 29. You know what? I'm going to be wrong. So somebody told me that this is Grimplex, but watch Meltdown not be Grimplex. It better be. 32 loyalists, and he is now coming over. He's going to try and help Blast Shield out, deciding he doesn't want to push into the massively point defense choke points here. 12 Oblivions in very close proximity to each other can deal a lot of damage. He is going to send about half of his loyalists down to the south and the other half to posture right here in this choke point. Tex trying to re-expand to his own territory. Probably worth the time investment to build a wall right here, although it just takes 1 engineer to deal with it. Strat Bomber coming out from EcoNoob, and he's gonna kill off Blast Shield. Oh, Blast Shield in some danger, and he dies to that last bomb out of a Strat Bomber from EcoNoob. I'm sure that this was an ongoing snipe attempt that I just wasn't paying attention to, but we did catch it there in the end, and the Strat Bomber killing Tex, or killing Blast Shield, don't know why I'm confusing those two, going to result in Grimplex taking a second base. Grimplex, of course, sitting on a very meaty economy, only player over 300 mass a second now, and he is going to be able to throw that into Percivals. He's going to be able to throw that into Bricks, into Loyalists, and he is going to get some massive value out of those units, as nobody else on the field has a substantial amount of T3 units. It's just these Ilshivas over here. Ilshivas are good, but they aren't 15 Loyalists good. Actually, they may be. This is a lot of mass in Ilshis. Although the Suicide Charge, a pretty decent option here. And of course, just in general, that stun weapon that they have going to be paramount to the success of Grimplex's forces here. Loyalty above all else is what Brackman wishes for. Grimplex embodying that well, as he's decided that he needs the mobility of the Loyalist over the tankiness and DPS of the Brick. Grimplex may want to consider getting his comm off the front line as he starts a Monkey Lord. Interestingly enough, or he's queued it up. The engineers they were off in Timbuktu as a wave of strap bombers being used for base defense, killing off a lot of T3 units. That army protects a shadow of its former self as it capitulates to the overwhelming force of these Loyalists. Of course, Grimplex will know that down here there is most likely T3 tech online. He'll know about that base. Will he be able to do anything about it? Will his overwhelming economic situation allow him to finally dig out the tick that is Tex in this eastern corner? We will see. As Grimplex trying to get more and more map control, I'm sure he's going to start expanding to all of these mexes. In fact, I think he has them all queued up. Well, somebody has every mex on the map queued up. Like, every single one of them that isn't taken as an order. Interesting to not see this taken, though. It is, of course, raised terrain. You can't get up to it with normal units, but I would have expected a drop by now. Was dropped on the other side, and a cheeky little radar was built up over there. And Eco Noob mentioning that he could snipe Grimplex. And Eco Noob, quite scary now, sitting on 8 strap bombers. Although Grimplex has a shield, and he has Myrmidons, I don't know if you could snipe him. He has multiple shields, in fact. Would be a difficult ask. I mean, more Myrmidons would be useful for him. But he has them dotted about, so whenever the strap bombers come in, they'll do their large circle and they'll get shot down. I don't know. You'd have to single pass it, and that's a lot of shields to try and single pass with. As Grimplex down to the southeast has a massive Loyalist army. A pause. As the Loyalist... What would a bunch of Loyalists be called? The Loyalist larceny? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, but then again, you have a murder of crows. Yes, the Loyalist larceny. I hereby decree it with my caster powers. Many Loyalists are called a larceny. That is, if there's an animal called a Loyalist, when they are in a group, it is now called a larceny. The Loyalist larceny, now approaching the heart of production for Tex, getting shot at by T3 mobile artillery, or maybe that was just a T2 artillery. Either is just as likely as the other. Yeah, it's just a T2 artillery. It's nice to have that the second kill be a Loyalist. As a cloud of restorers now building up. Oh, I missed it! Oh, I'm an idiot! Okay, I'm guessing Loyalists killed the comm of Alan. Yeah, either that or it was some kind of snipe. He wasn't doing a whole lot in my defense, as the Monkey Lord has completed. And the overall situation in this game looking relatively dire now for Team 1. They were in that hugely dominant position with Tex down here, but now Tex struggling to hold on to these factories, and he needs them. This is the majority of his production and mass expenditure Although, here soon, he may not need them as much. Awasa's a very, very strong argument for who should win the game is 3 Awasas. And if you can get those online, could be very dangerous. Banger, not slacking on the air game himself. Has a decent fleet of Air Force over there. The Loyalists coming in. It's gonna be a difficult situation to deal with, but he may just have the pure numbers to force Tex off of this corner, and if he can do this, it gives him free reign over half the map. He also has a Monkey Lord up in the north. It's still sitting in the base. We'll keep that on for a little bit. And Normandy, Eco Noob says, to the assault on this base, which is grand in scale, but unfortunately not going very well. As Tex pointing out, he has 15 PD and a decent army behind this. Although the Percivals, they haven't taken much damage. The Loyalists have been soaking quite a bit. Suicide Charge may be a good option for the Loyalists if Grimplex has the APM to order it. Percival's going to take out a lot of the outlying structures here. Take down some of these defensive options, which means that the next wave will be just that easier to push in with, but it was indeed thwarted by the Seraphim's defenses. As the larceny of Loyalists falls back in shame, tail between their legs. Although this is a little bit optimistic to be trying to chase down Percivals and Loyalists and the occasional pillar with a couple of Ilshis and some Zooies. Can't believe I missed that, but we are all human. We are not perfect, and I'm not recasting this simply because I missed one comm death. It has happened before. It will happen again. The Restorers take some fire from the ASF, but the ASF have to turn around as Banger not wanting to commit to a full air fight. The later you go in the game, the worse that the idea of a full air fight becomes. As if you do lose the air fight, even if you start on even numbers, the player who wins is up by a lot in almost every situation. It's very much so a gamble. It's better to just have those units as a threat, as a defensive option, than to go for the full-on air fight in many cases, as it can seem like you're winning 1 second, and the next second, all of your ASF are gone. A very sad tale. Where's the Monkey Lord? Hello? Oh, Monkey Lord's coming down here. Grimplex has had enough of Tex. Grimplex is like, all right, if all of the King's Loyalists and all of the King's Percivals cannot take out this fucking base, then Humpty Dumpty gonna get broken by a Monkey Lord. I need that on a t-shirt. If all of the King's Loyalists and all of the King's Percivals. It really fits, because you have Loyalist, which it can sound kind of medieval, kind of knightly, and Percival is named after, I would assume, the knight, the Percival knight from folklore or fantasy, or maybe he was a real person, I don't know. The farther back you go in history, the harder it is to separate between fantasy and reality. As over here, literally, history has schizophrenia. As over here to the northwest, lots of mechs is going down. Most of these T2, but a T3 mech's under threat as Loyalists have slipped past the defenses for one of the many times that's happened this game. Another large Loyalist larceny down here, making its way northwards. The Monkey Lord, the Percivals, the Bricks, they're all... Or I don't think there's any Bricks. I still think that he is on Loyalist Go Burr mode. As T3 Air is finished up for Grimplex, that could be huge. Eco Noob living up to his name. I haven't looked at this scoreboard in way too long. 700 mass a second for the Red Aeon, doing us proud. He has a GC and a Czar about to complete. And that T3 Air may become more relevant than was ever expected now for Team 2. As Grimplex really needs to invest in the ASF now. Awasa online now for Tex. Tsar soon to finish. These air experimentals can definitely be a liability. They can definitely be a waste of mass, but they can also win you air fights. If your opposition decides to have half of their ASF fight the Tsar, or their ASF largely fight the Tsar, and you largely fight their ASF, you do have chances to come on top even when down on ASF. Multiple air experimentals going to be dangerous, and this is going to really be able to shut down the aggression coming out from Grimplex. Tex using every trick in the Seraphim handbook to try and hold on to this disgusting outcropping to his opposition's territory. A Gunther battery being thrown up to try and at least contain, if not shut down, some of the structures of Tex down here. A Megalith completing a Tsar. That Tsar is done, isn't it? Tsar also completed. There's so much going on. I need to go to split screen. We have the assault in the southeast about to get Awasad, and it's gonna be a painful day. That is not what you like to see if you're a Grimplex fan. Although I don't know how many fans Grimplex has. I'm gonna just make this mini-map really small. We're on double screen. The ASF over here trying to be dispatched to kill off the Strat Bombers instead of the Tsar. The Tsar could threaten the comm of Grimplex. Grimplex starts walking away, needs to get up enough Myrmidons to just really shut down this Tsar. If this Tsar gets on top of that comm, the comm dies. As it seems to have calmed down a little bit, we'll go ahead and get this back. I shouldn't have fucked with the minimap. Everybody's gonna hate the size that I make it. But it was in the way. That's my excuse. The Tsar, the GC, 2 Tsars, 3 more queued up, another one being thrown up just as fast as money can make it happen. And this Monkey Lord, he's decided not to push the issue down there. He doesn't want to get shot by an Awasa again. Monkey Lord can survive it, but it's not a very pleasant situation for it. As Grimplex producing ASF, unfortunately doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. We have a second Tsar joining the fray, a third Tsar going to be finished in like 10 seconds. This is going to be a very pivotal moment for both teams. The GC starting to walk down, but he's just going to walk down he's being birthed from this ravine into a world of pain and sadness. Decides to turn around, go back home. It's safer there. As the Megalith and Loyalist army there, very threatening. EcoNoob has built a third Tsar. And he has all of these Strat Bombers. I don't think he's producing very many ASF though. EcoNoob now sitting on 214 ASF that have fuel. Banger Noob sitting on 335. Banger Noob definitely has the air advantage. Awasa completed. Chicken now completed for Tex. He has an Awasa on the field. A Chicken finished up. He has this base down here, which he's held on to for the better part of 30 minutes. Bomb gonna come down, take out some Loyalists. Unfortunate for Grimplex. Doesn't even leave Reclaim though, which is unfortunate for Tex. 3 Tsars posturing in the middle. ASF being shit out of factories left and right. These 3 Tsars could definitely kill off Grimplex, although I don't know if Team 1 wants to kill off Grimplex. Do they know his comm is even there? Oh, they don't know his comm is there. I guess his comm has stealth. Yeah, his comm has stealth. Maybe a worthy investment to go for cloaking at this point. As the 3 Tsars posture there, a 4th Tsar finishing up now. 4 donuts. We're almost to half a dozen. It seems as though EcoNoob has gone for the obesity plan, as he's going to use donuts like pancakes and drop a fat experimental load all over the base of Grimplex. Or not, he's going to turn around and politely rethink his options. As down here to the southeast, a relatively meek force. It's really just sniper bots holding this together, trying to push towards Grimplex. I don't know if they know there's a Monkey Lord there, though. I don't know if Tex knows much of anything. Tex is about to have a very bad moment. And I need to catch this air fight, but it seems as though these players have been tiptoeing around the idea of committing to an air fight for what feels like an eternity down here. With this many Zars on the field, we have to be a little bit respectful of their air-to-air capabilities. They will get shot down very quickly in a full-on air engagement, but they have those anti-air cannons, and they can even kite ASF. They can fire from such a range with those cannons, those missiles firing out and hitting those ASF. You see ASF falling in droves as they come into a commit for the air fight. And this is going to probably decide the game. If Banger cannot manage to win this with his increased numbers, he will be absolutely destroyed by the Zars. He not only has to win it, he has to win it handily so he can take down the Zars. It's hard to tell who's winning, but it's a beautiful spectacle nonetheless. As Eco Noob says, "Aw, I feel that is an awe of sadness." Target priority fighter. He forgot to set his ASF, or maybe he realized his opponent was on the right target priority. And the Zars, they were left to get their full DPS out, but as long as the ASF fought the ASF, Banger just had more. The Zars' DPS was not enough. And with that, I think the game may just be over. Awasa coming in, dropping a bomb onto this base where Grimplex has been chilling out for most of the game. The wreck gonna land very close to Grimplex's comm, but he's gonna walk away unscathed and undamaged. Even decided to reclaim his P-Gen, thinking that's not going volatile, damn it. And with the air win there, it's looking very, very bleak for Team 1. They have some land experimentals, but Grimplex has done an amazing job on the ground, and now there's an Awasa in the air, and with complete air dominance and not the same level of anti-air on the field, they don't have the SAMs that Grimplex has oh so graciously invested into. 28 over here, really a stronghold, and I'm sure that Banger has his own SAM grid. 10. Doesn't seem like they have quite as many SAMs on their field of the map as they have been the air aggressors for most of the game. The Awasa going to be coming up to the northern lands to make itself known and to rain down pain in the form of big floaty bombs. I don't know why the bomb is floated. Big, ugly looking bombs like everything else the Seraphim has. As the Aeon Zar there going to be in a very sad state of affairs. Is he going to control K-Bomb this? He does not opt for the control K-Bomb, just the regular bomb. I guess that's probably the better option, as of course he does have air control, can protect these ASF, or protect the Awasa, but no, instead he does the BM thing. He drops it off map, so you can't get the reclaim. Oh, that's dirty. Nuke launch from Grimplex. That's almost assuredly going to land. I don't see an anti-nuke. And I think with that, Team 1 is broken and beaten. The Awasa out from Tex. His first one got shot down, but the second one coming in, gonna take down this UEF base. Don't know if it'll be enough. Maybe he can get off a second bomb if he's lucky. Maybe a control K-bomb, take out the air grid of his opposition. Is it gonna have enough time? The ASF are coming back. Grimplex showing up with his own ASF. Are you gonna control K-bomb it? Or are you just going to do a normal bomb? If that hits a shield, that's going to be brutal. But it doesn't hit the shield. And the air grid for Banger Noob goes down in spectacular fashion. Although he doesn't do the BM thing and keep the Awasa moving to fall off screen. Drops the mast right on top of Banger Noob's base. Team 1 hard-pressed to find a large victory here. Team 2 with that air win was a huge turning point in this game. The Zars had me scared, but now the Zars are disasters waiting to happen. It's basically how much damage can you get with a falling Zar. As right now, a Megalith and a Monkey Lord push in, and there is very little on the ground to deal with this. There's this GC over here that's killing Medusa. There's a couple of Zars, but the second the Zars are pulled in, you have to imagine the ASF respond in kind with that overwhelming DPS that they do have access to. Tex still trying to get some land aggression going down here in the south, but there's so many Percivals and Loyalists And that Monkey Lord still sitting down here, cloaking it all. Or stealthing it all, I guess I should say. Making life difficult. The Zars come in. They're going to fall back to a anti-air line that is actually relatively beefy. They don't want to... You don't want to put your Zars right on top of it. Keep falling back. Keep falling back with the Zars. Maybe you can shut down all of his Air Force if you can kill all of this off. That means that air is going to become more and more powerful. Oh, but the Zars go down so quickly that the Sam's only going to get minor damage down. There's still going to be a healthy cloud of ASF there for Banger Noob. And Banger Noob even still has his T3 Air HQ. Can continue to produce, whereas I believe that Eco Noob has just finished rebuilding his. Overall economies, Team 1 still massively ahead economically. The Monkey Lord goes down, but the Megalith will kill the GC and almost assuredly get a rank of veterancy for that. That's true, right? You'll get a rank of veterancy. Yeah, it's like 20,000 mass for a GC. Yep, gets a rank of veterancy, can start taking down all of this, start dismantling this base. Nuke launching? Did I hear the nuke siren? No, I didn't. Okay. Large land battle now taking place down here to the south. Chicken standing head and shoulders above everybody else because it's a lanky, tall motherfucker. As the larceny of loyalists and the parfait of Percivals go forward once more onto the breach to try and take this down. A Wassa out from Grimplex, leaving this chicken very lonely and sad. The Monkey Lord goes down, but the Percival's walking in for the kill shot on that chicken. Fighting in the remnants of that air battle oh so long ago, which I believe decided the game. As Megaliths and Monkey Lords and Spiders, Megaliths and Monkey Lords and Ass Washers, oh my. Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my. Start to wreak havoc on Tex and Eco Noob, and I think we can speed it up because barring a sudden stroke, actually 2 sudden strokes of players on Team 2, I think they have it in the bag. Wassa being used relatively aggressively by Grimplex, knowing he has air control. He is convinced that he needs to take down this area down here. Tex! Oh my god, the dirty bomb out of the Wassa where you drop it out the side. You throw it out the hatch. Drop that bomb to the side, and the players for Team 1 Control K, thank you all for supporting me and for watching this game. You all are beautiful. Thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to the members. Please consider joining those programs if you want to help the channel grow and help get this channel even bigger and you want to see more casts. And with that out of the way, you all are beautiful. This is Willow, signing off.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.